Hi, this is a gyro and it's used to record a gyro track aligned with the camera's video that can be used in post to stabilize the footage. It's made with an FPV drone flight controller running Betaflight, a microSD to SD adapter, a powerbank step-up converter, and a GoPro Hero 5, 6 or 7 battery. I made this project following the Christophe instruction on how to wire the SD adapter and what changes to make in Betaflight. I will use both the GoPro stabilizing software RealSteady and Gyroflow, which is an open source stabilizing tool that is under heavy development, so I won't cover it in depth. All the links are in the description. So for this build you will need a 20x20 flight controller with integrated memory for black box. You will have to swap it with the SD card reader, and a GoPro battery and an 18650 power bank, or whatever 3.7 to 5 volt step-up converter you prefer. This is the print, the main body of the gyro. This is the slot where the SD card will vertically sit, and this is where the USB will sit and hold the buck converter in place. As most FPV pilots love, this gyro is powered by a battery without a power button. It will turn off if you remove the battery, but there is plenty of space to drill your own power button slot. Now, make sure that the converter works. Then, find on your flight controller the pads for 5 volts and ground. Sometimes there are many, choose what you prefer. Then, fit the USB in place. See, it's very firm, it will not move. Solder the wires to the board, being careful not to short anything. Once you're done, you can screw the flight controller to the cold shoe adapter to the body of the gyro. Be sure to use rubber grommets to filter vibrations that will lower the gyro track quality. This is the connector that will power everything from the GoPro battery. You can also use an original GoPro battery metal housing. I made an STL that has space for it in case you'd like to use that. Now for the electrical contacts, I used paper fasteners which are made of brass, but you can use whatever works for you. Take your own measures and solder them at a 90 degrees angle. Then solder a positive and negative wire and feed everything into the printed adapter. Be sure to use the right polarity, otherwise you might burn the power board. Check if the tolerances are right and be sure to smooth the connectors so you won't ruin the battery. Solder everything in place and there you go, it's working. I will use the threaded inserts to make the screwing more solid and reliable. You will need two 20mm M2 screws for this. Mine came with a 20x20 stack, so you likely have some laying around. Now onto the software. To make everything work you will need FFmpeg, which is an incredible Python tool that, among other things, can convert a video to MP4, removing all the metadata, allowing us to write new one with another software. Download the essential build, it has all you need. To install it, copy these 3 files and place them in a folder of your choice. Type path in the Windows search bar and open System Properties, Environment Variables, open Path and click New and add the position of your 3 files. Now FFmpeg is installed. Again, all the links are in the description. Now go into Blackbox to GMPF, which is the software that writes your video and your gyro track on a GoPro file to make it readable by RealSteady. Paste your video here, because the patcher will save in its folder the output file, so we'll have everything on hand. Now take the gyro data that Betaflight saved in the log folder of your SD. Now comes the hard part. For now, syncing the gyro and the video is a hand process, but there are a couple of tools that are being developed that will automate the process. One very important thing, when you power the flight controller, do not move it for at least 5 to 10 seconds, so it will calibrate the gyro. The flight controller will blink fast 3 times when it's done. If you can't for some reason see the LEDs, just wait some seconds, otherwise the flight controller will fail to record the gyro. Once the log is open, load the video and use it as a background reference. When you shoot the video, be sure to make some kind of distinct movement, so you'll know when to sync the motion. In my clip I held the camera steady and yawed it right, fast, so there is a clear movement in the gyro. Play around with the offsets until you find something that resembles the right moment, then fine-tune it via trial and error with the stabilized result. Export the log as a CSV and save it. Now type CMD in the Windows search bar and the commands prompt will open. Change folder by typing CD and then the address of the folder where FFmpeg is. I've put in the description a file with the command for ffmpeg for converting the video file. Put your file address and name as I'm doing. Do not touch anything beside the CRF value. It goes from 0 to 51 and represents the compression amount of the file. 23 is default, 0 is lossless, and 51 is the worst possible. You can choose the file's output name. As you may have heard, spaghetti kind of makes sense for me. Now paste it via right click in the command prompt. Be sure to be in the right folder and have all the right names, and wait for it to finish the conversion. If you need, you can stop it with Ctrl+C. Now open the black box to GPMF. Set the camera angle relative to the black box, not to the drone or your handheld thing. In this case it's 0. Type the offset and the time you took it. You can use it in the end of the offset too if you think it's the same. But while you're filming, you can do some signature movements at the end of the video, so you can check the end offset and have a more accurate reading. Choose the camera profile you prefer and hit process video. You will get two output files. Ignore the corrected FPS. The _out file is the video with the gyro metadata and is the one you will use in RealSteady and Gyroflow. Stabilize it and play around with the settings. In this test I used a 15mm lens on an APS-C sensor, which isn't wide enough, and I got overcorrection in RealSteady. You can see online what focal length is relative to every GoPro shooting mode. A 12mm on a full frame and a 7.5mm on APS-C should be close to the GoPro wide fog. You can play with different settings and offsets until you're happy with the result. In this test I didn't get a good stabilization, but it is still showing that the gyro is working and the software is too. It's a matter of right lenses and fine-tuning. I did a Gyroflow v0.1.1 alpha test using a pre-compiled version that I found on the group. There's a YouTube video about it, I'll post it below. In Gyroflow you can choose your lens profile and also make your own. I made a profile from my Canon EOS M6 Mark II and 7 Artisan 7.5mm lens. It should work with every Canon APS-C with that lens. You have to input 2 timestamps from the video so that the software will know where you want it to fine-tune the sync between the video and the gyro track. So even if you didn't do a perfect job by hand, it will slightly correct it. Be sure to choose a timestamp that is in the video and not after the end, or you'll get this error message. Choose the GoPro profile that you used in GMPF and hit Apply Settings, and wait for it to finish. The progress are shown in a command window that opens along Gyroflow. Wait for it to finish and export the video. This is the result I've got. It's not the best, but be aware that this is still under heavy development, and many people have got way better results with other cameras. Thanks to Elvin Chen, Richard Papp, Andrei Shalta, Patrick Kramer and all the other devs involved in the project for working so hard and making it completely open source. Thanks for watching.